Good morning. And no, your eyes are not playing tricks on you. This shirt is very bright and musical. And that's because our topic and our guest today have a lot to do with music. And I think we're going to have a fantastic time. I think this is going to be one of the more fun and interesting Coffee Breaks with Steve episodes that we've had in a while. Although I personally think they're all fun and interesting. So I'm biased. But you'll want to stay tuned and find out for yourself. So put on the brakes, grab a cup of coffee, and join the conversation because it's time for Coffee Breaks with Steve. Need that today. How are you all doing? I hope everybody's having a good Saturday so far. It is Saturday, October 14th, 2023. If you're tuning in live and joining us here, say hello in the chat so that we can see that you're here and acknowledge you, and make sure when we get into our topic today that you join the conversation. Shalane is here. Good morning, Shalane. Carla, Carissa, Jerry Thompson, Everybody drink. Thank you. Rick is here. If you are joining in, make your presence known. We're going to have a great time today. This is one I've been looking forward to for a long time. And when I say a long time, we recorded the conversation that you're going to be seeing today just very recently, just within the last couple of weeks. But I have had my mindset on having our guest Lolli Wren join Coffee Breaks with Steve for months now, and just waiting for the opportunity. Oh, Kathy mentioned she's watching the eclipse on TV. Too cloudy to see the sun locally, plus not total at my house. Cloudy here too. I don't believe it's total in our area, but it's overcast today in Spokane, and so I'm not bothering to go outside. But I would be watching it on TV, but I'm doing this. So I'll catch it. I'm sure there will be highlights later. And what else do you have going on this weekend? I hope everybody's got great plans for the weekend. I'm going to be, after the show today, getting ready to take Carol to the airport for a return back to Providence, Rhode Island. As I think many of you on here know, my wife Carol is a consultant and a contractor with a company that provides contracting or provides consultation and staffing to health to I can't even, boy, this is Shalane, keep me on track with this. Everybody drink. Okay, let's try that again. Carol works in the healthcare industry, has for years been in the administrative roles, and she is now working as a contractor with a hospital group in Providence, Rhode Island. It's a hybrid situation, hybrid job. So she spends a month working from home here and then a month back there live. And she's getting ready now to leave today for her month on site. And I'm going to be joining her next week. So we'll talk more about that at the end today. But yeah, interested in seeing what you're doing. And we're going to take some time now before we get into our topic to share a few sweet and savory things that I thought were kind of interesting to know about for the coming week, and in some cases for the month. For instance, we talked last week about some things that October is the month of. One of the things that October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and it's one that's personal for me and for members of my family because we have family members who are breast cancer survivors, overcomers, and we've had family members who have unfortunately lost their lives to breast cancer. And so it's one that I think deserves a lot of attention. Just a few quick statistics. In the United States every year, about 298,000 women are diagnosed with breast cancer, and about 44,000 women die. Worldwide, that number is about 2.3 million diagnosed and 685,000 who die from breast cancer. And that is the world numbers are from the World Health Organization, from some 2020 statistics. It's the second most common cancer for women after skin cancer, and the second leading cause of cancer death in women after lung cancer. Most breast cancers are found in women 50 years of age and older. The median age is 62, but it also affects younger women. And there are a lot more statistics out there and a lot more information that I think is important for you to know. You can go to any number of sites out there, from the CDC to the American Cancer Society and others, to find out information. My personal request is for women. Now, men can also get breast cancer. About 1% of the diagnoses each year of breast cancer in men. It's much more rare, obviously. But particularly for women, you know that there are things that you can be doing, including going in for your annual breast exams, for the mammograms. Am I saying that right? For some reason, my brain is not connected to my mouth this morning, but you know what you need to do. I understand, while I've never experienced it, obviously, that it's not the most comfortable procedure, but in my mind and in my heart, it's much better than dealing with the disease itself. If it can be caught early, the treatments are much better now than they were even a few years ago. So, yes, breast cancer awareness. Here's an interesting story that I found. They've just recently announced the Nobel Prizes, or have been in the process of announcing. Did you know what the winner of this year's, or co-winner of this year's Nobel Prize in Chemistry? He made a confession during an interview recently. His name is Munji Bawendi, and he says he flunked his first college chemistry exam. He is a professor at MIT who co-won the prize for developing quantum dots, which are nanoparticles that are now powering the next generation of video screens and are very instrumental in medicine, helping to reveal things like tumors in the body. But the 62-year-old Franco-Tunisian didn't just fail his first chemistry exam at Harvard, he screwed it up so badly he said that it nearly destroyed him. He says, I looked at the first question, I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure out the second one. And I thought, oh my God, what am I doing here? He got a 20 out of 100, an F, the lowest grade in the class by far. But listen, from that, he says, I figured out how to study, and the rest is history. His advice to others who are struggling to persevere is don't let failure get you down. I think that's valuable. Hey, did you also hear that the U.S. women's gymnastics team cemented a spot in sports history last week when they won the 7th consecutive world championship title? And we know that if you follow this at all, that no, that's not what I wanted to go to yet. Simone Biles, who just made her return to elite gymnastics about 2 months ago after a 2-year hiatus. She helped carry the USA team to a record-breaking gold medal at the World Championships in Antwerp, Belgium. She sealed the team win with a floor routine in the final rotation, earning the highest score of the day and solidifying the team's victory by more than 2 points over Brazil. This win adds to Biles' status as the most decorated female gymnast in history, with a total of 33 combined medals so far. And she's still going strong. So congratulations to the women's gymnastics team, USA gymnastics team, which will be going to the Paris Olympics next year. Yeah, next year. And then we do have a birthday this week coming up on Monday. Happy birthday to Casey Fowler, Casey Marie Fowler, who will be celebrating a birthday on October 16th. And she's my niece. So, yeah, want to celebrate with her. In fact, I think I get to celebrate a little bit with her and the family. Do you have a special day this week? Do you want to let us know about it in the chat so that we can acknowledge and celebrate with you right now? What's with the lizard? What was Shalane? What's with the lizard? What lizard did you see? I'm almost afraid. Oh, clearly a dinosaur. Got it. Okay. Yeah. Wow. Let's try to finish this sentence. You have a special day this week. Put it in the chat. Birthday, anniversary, any other special day that you or a member of your family has that you want us to acknowledge here. And if you have a special day coming up, perhaps in the remainder of the month of October, maybe even in November, please send it to us. Or maybe you have just an item, some of the interesting stories we shared in Sweet and Savory that you think would be good to share. Send it to me by email at cbwsteve@comcast.net so that we can make sure that we include that. Oh boy, it's one of those days. Let me just see if anybody else has joined the chat here. Reminder again that if you are tuning in live, Jerry Thompson says, hope you're not drinking decaf. I am not drinking decaf. This is a pretty strong cup of coffee, and obviously I need it this morning. All right, listen. Hi, Kathy McCormick. If you are tuning into what these people are doing, make sure that you are acknowledging by saying hi and making your comments in the chat. By the way, if you tune in later on, because our episodes do record on both Facebook and YouTube where they're going out live, and a lot of people come in and watch later on. If that's you, hello, Michael Shelton from Tampa. Good to see you. If you tune in later on, you're watching this in a recorded form, you can still make comments in the chat, participate in the conversation as you are watching. So I just want to give you a little bit of information about our topic and our guest today. I mentioned earlier, this is one that I have been looking forward to for quite a while. I will admit that one of my guilty pleasures is going on YouTube and watching reaction videos. I don't know if you're familiar with those, but it's where people will put on, there are some that do music reactions and there are some who do like TV and movie reactions. I'm addicted to both. But for instance, for the music reactions, they will put on a music video of an artist, of a singer or a group, and then they will make their comments, analyze, make comments, etc. And there are people who do this from all walks of life. There are some people who have no musical background whatsoever. However, there are people who themselves are experts, who themselves are singers, professional singers, vocal coaches, producers, etc. And so their analysis is much more focused on technique and how the singers are producing. And as a singer and a former choir director myself, I find those extremely fascinating and helpful. And one of the people that I have watched over the last year or two is our guest today. So let me tell you about her. Lolli Wren believes that if you can speak, you can sing. And she is on a quest to prove it. Every week, she takes to YouTube as the fairy voice mother to explain the vocal techniques used by some of the greatest singers in the world, and she replicates them to show her beloved viewers that in a few steps and with practice, they can do it too. All the while undertaking a master's degree in vocal pedagogy. I hope I'm saying that right. Is it pedagogy or pedagogy? In vocal pedagogy, we'll leave it there. Correct me if I'm wrong, to ensure she is at the forefront of vocal science. Lolli is currently recording, you ready for this? Lolli is currently recording her debut album to be released in 2024. We're going to hear a little bit more about that. So again, this conversation was recorded in advance, but you can still ask your questions, make your comments in the chat. Lolli will be able to she may join us today live. She's in Europe, so she's a number of hours ahead of us, but she'll be able to come in later on, see your comments, and pedagogy. Thank you. Pedagogy. Okay. Without any further interruptions from myself, I want to introduce you to and let you learn much more about the fairy voice mother, Lolli Wren. Well, Lolli Wren, thank you for being here. Welcome to Coffee Breaks with Steve. It's great to have you here joining us from across the pond.
It's lovely to be here. Thank you very much for having me.
You know, we shared a little bit in the introduction about you and your background, but I think a good place to start when we're having these kinds of conversations is sort of starting at the beginning with childhood, with someone who's got your level of talent and experience. It's always interesting to find out, did you start off as a child very musical? Did you come from a musical family?
No, I'm the only musical person in my family. My mum is a secretary. My dad is a car person. He races cars and fixes cars. There's no one musical apart from me. And I first discovered this lifelong passion of mine when I was 6. I got the opportunity to learn the flute. And once I started that and I realized how much I could express myself in this medium, I just explored it and wanted to find new instruments to play all the time. I played flute and then I played clarinet and then I started singing. And then I started with piano and bass and I can play drums a little bit as well. And I just didn't look back really as soon as I found that suited me so much. Yeah.
Wow. And there's another thing that you have shared that has to do with, as you started singing, one of the things that you discovered early and were interested in was that you could imitate or mimic other voices.
Yeah.
And that's still something you do.
Yeah, it's something I've always done and I did it for fun. It was my favorite thing to do as a kid, just find a unique voice and copy it. And I never expected that to be such a big part of my work, but I've found it's helped me so much, this ability as a vocal coach, because I can mold my voice so it can sound like each one of my students. And then I get to put myself into their shoes and I can teach them quite effectively. So, yeah.
That's a great tool to be able to utilize. Did you, as you were growing up, did you have any favorite singers or artists that you love to listen to, and maybe those were some of the early ones that you imitated?
When I was little, because I didn't come from a musical family, no one really valued music that much. It was just something that came on the radio. And, you know, those like Now That's What I Call 8,000 and like 751, whatever, just those albums. And so I just heard many different singers, usually in the pop realm. And I would sort of try and replicate anything I heard. So I didn't really get exposed to anything I deeply felt connected to as a child, but I did get exposed to lots of different music in terms of whatever was popular at the time. So it gave me a lot of stimulus so I could copy their voices whether I liked them or not. I remember really latching onto people like Shakira and Dido because they had such unique sounds, and it was so fun to change my voice so much to fit into those sounds. But as I was coming into my teenage years, I went on a bit more of a discovery of things that really started to make me feel things. So I remember finding the music of Newton Faulkner and lots of other kind of folky music. And then Jeff Buckley, which is my favorite singer of all time. So that's really when I started to feel music deeper. But before that, it was just a game. I would listen to a voice and copy it.
When did you start taking that ability and that interest in performing publicly? Were you singing in front of people at an early age, or did that come later?
My first public performance was a talent show at school when I was 12. And I just, because I realized that it was something that I enjoyed so much singing, I tried to sort of look around to see what opportunities would be there. And that was one. And so I entered. I remember I had a Leona Lewis CD. Whenever I would get like money for my birthday or whatever, I would save up and buy albums. And I remember looking through the CD, reading the words on the little book, and I just sort of chose the song that I could sing the easiest. And then I decided to sing that for this talent show. And that was the first time anyone actually heard me sing, because before I would just do it in private under my breath because I was extremely, extremely anxious as a child. But then everyone was like, bloody hell, Lolli, I didn't know you could sing. What is this? And then I sort of got this confidence like, oh, okay, maybe I can. People like to hear it. And then when I realized that people actually like to hear it and it wasn't just something that pleased me, that's when I sort of really actively sought more performance opportunities. I just entered a lot of talent shows, programs and things like that. And that was how I spent my teenage years, really, just taking as many opportunities as I can. And I was lucky enough to do many exciting things. I was a backing vocalist for Jocelyn Brown, which is like a big sort of soul singer. I did that when I was 13. And I was in a choir supporting Sarah McLachlan when I was like 14. And and I got to play with the London Symphony Orchestra as a flute player, because this whole time I was playing flute and singing at the same time. And I just used to audition for everything. And that's
did you do any like stage musicals when you were in high school years or teenage years? Did you do any acting along with it, or was it mostly just musical performance?
I just was so shy. Acting is something I have done a little bit as I got a little bit older, but as a child I was just way too shy. It's something that I would do on my own at home, like write comedy sketches. I love comedy, so I would write stand up and just like perform it to nothing, and that was it. One of my goals in life is to be in a comedy movie or something like that. Yeah.
You ended up at university. You ended up in some kind of a college program, right, or advanced program. Where was that? What was that about, and what was that experience like?
I did a degree in vocal performance at a music university in London. And it was the thing that became the catalyst of my desire for knowledge about the voice. So I'll never forget the first time I saw a diagram of a larynx. It changed everything for me. When all of the sounds that I was able to copy as a child, I could now see what that was. I saw the picture of the larynx and then the vocal folds inside and the muscles, and that's it. I realized then that this voice of ours is just a mechanism. It's a machine that we can manipulate however we want. And then as soon as I realized that, I just took it upon myself to learn absolutely every single component of the larynx I possibly could, all of the muscles, all of the ligaments, all of the cartilages, everything. And I would watch videos of like what we call like stroboscopies, so like videos of inside the voice, notice how they do certain things, and then copy it and visualize it. And since then it's been limitless, the amount of stuff that I've been able to do, because I can watch a video of someone doing a scream or a growl and I know that what's happening, and now because I understand those anatomical components, I just, why not? And then I practice and it works. So that's really part of my mission, is to make people understand that these are just mechanical components that you have autonomy over. You just need to learn them.
You mentioned a little bit ago about being able to assist your students by imitating or replicating things that they're doing. You're a vocal coach, among other things. One of the things that you say on your site, and I think I've even heard you say out loud on some of your YouTube, is if you can talk, you can sing.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? Talk about that a little bit.
So if you have the ability to do what we call phonate, which means bring your vocal folds together and make a pitch.
Yeah.
That means you can also stretch your vocal folds and sing a higher pitch, and you can slack the vocal folds and make a lower pitch. You can then choose to part them a little bit and begin to develop fry. You can part them completely and sing with a breathy tone. You've got everything you need to control as you wish. So if you have the ability to phonate and make sounds, then you have the ability to control those sounds and make them sound the exact way you imagine it to be in your head.
Yeah. Where do your students come from? Do you do live vocal training? Are they all online, or is there a sort of a hybrid mixture?
So my students now are almost exclusively on Zoom online, where they've found my YouTube channel and they've contacted me for lessons. And I'm working on a course right now, well, several vocal courses that will be out next year in 2024. And that will be more of a hybrid approach. So they'll get this edited vocal course, which I'm going to fill with all kinds of things and humorous things and educational things and interactive things. And then they'll be able to have live video calls with me as well to make sure that they can implement those techniques, because that is really, really important. It's just having a course without anyone actually looking at you and hearing you will definitely mean slower progress. So.
Now, I know this is going to come up among the viewers who are watching right now after we've talked about this, so I have to ask it. Are you currently maxed out in terms of students? And if so, is there a wait list? And how would people contact you for more information?
I would love to think that people would want lessons with me. That's lovely from your audience. Yeah, there is a way to apply for lessons online. We have an application process just to make sure that we're compatible. It isn't like an audition or anything. In fact, my favorite people to work with are absolute beginners with an open mind, because that is just so exciting for me to take someone on a journey of finding their own voice. It's my favorite work. So you just need to fill out that form. So I am sure I can help you. For example, I don't teach opera. So if I see that that's something that you want to do, I'm not the best person. I teach contemporary techniques, pop, rock, growling, screaming, soul, jazz, all that kind of thing. And the availability is quite scarce, but you can purchase like a bundle of lessons and just claim them when the availability comes up. Once you've applied, you'll get an email with everything you need to know, like the calendar link, so you can see my availability and you can check that. And if you find a time that's suitable for you, you can just buy a lesson, and that's all. It's all done.
And we'll also post this online so people can see it, but where do they go to find the application?
Oh, so it's thefairyvoicemother.com and /something. There's a classes button on my website and it will say Zoom. So probably thefairyvoicemother.com /classes. But if you just go on that website,
they can
yeah, there's a form on the website.
So let's talk about that alter ego, or also known as of yours, the Fairy Voice Mother, because that's also how people are most likely to find you if they go to YouTube and they want to see some of your reaction videos and other things that you put on YouTube. And you've been doing that now for what, 3 years? You've been doing the YouTube channel?
Well, it's I started it 3 years ago, but I didn't really start posting until 2021. So it's like 2.5 years, I would say. Yeah.
And you're at this point, you're at almost 175,000
Yeah,
subscribers on
I think
your
so.
YouTube channel.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
About right, yeah, and continuing to grow. I mean, go out there and look, and the number keeps going up. That says a lot right there. But what was it about putting together a YouTube channel and particularly doing reaction videos that appeal to you? Why did you decide to do that?
I was teaching one of my students called Bradley, and he said, I started watching these videos on YouTube where vocal coaches react to singers, and I found them really entertaining. And he said, because I'm a sort of vocal coach and I have a strange personality, he thought that I would be someone that people might want to watch doing that. And I was like, okay, well, what's the reaction video? I didn't know anything about it. It's something I didn't know existed. And so I made a YouTube channel. Obviously, I had to come up with a big brand behind it because it's just, I wanted to have a big old concept, and I started making videos, like just a few very strange videos, like why do you sound better when you sing in the shower? And just stuff like that. And then I was like, okay, it's time. I'm going to do a reaction video. And then all of a sudden, like the subscriber count and the view count was crazy. And I got loads of suggestions. Like, I want to see this. I want to see this. And so it was like the people have spoken, I just sort of did a couple of them and they went really well. And so I just haven't stopped because it was really just wonderful to see how people were enjoying them and getting stuff out of them. So I just kept going, really, because it was so fulfilling and exciting to hear that people were getting a lot out of the videos. And that's really the biggest thing that motivated me to continue.
I'll just say this. Your reaction videos, each one is a masterclass because you take the time. I love actually the way you format them. Sometimes I watch a lot of reaction videos.
Okay.
And I have certain reactors that I love to go back and watch. I'm subscribed to, and I love to go back and watch frequently, such as Fairy Voice Mother. But some of them can be a bit frustrating because they get, 3 measures into a phrase and they stop to make their comments. And all reactors are going to do that. If they're good, you're going to make those stop points so that they can say something relevant about what's happened. But I've noticed that you have a tendency to make sure that your stop points and your comments come at natural stopping points between verses, between stanzas, or whatever. There's a place that makes sense, and then you're backing up and coming back into it, replaying things and coming back into it. And I just wanted to mention that, both to say how much I appreciate that to you, but also so that the people who are watching this, who may go, yeah, I've watched some reaction videos and I can't take it because they stop too free. My wife is one of those. She struggles to watch reaction videos. She herself is a fantastic singer, but she struggles to watch reaction videos because she's like, the whole stop and go thing constantly bothers me. And I just want people to be aware they can take the time to go check yours out, because I think you're going to be a lot less frustrated. Plus, you talked about how you love to understand and to share the mechanics of vocal production. That's another thing that comes out in your reaction videos, is you take the time to describe what's happening and to replicate. That's the other thing. I've had people that I'm showing your videos to whose jaws drop open because something will happen. A Dimash will do something, or the first time that you watch Ginger and their lead singer went into that extreme shouted growl, and after you did the spit take with your tea, you came back and said, all right, let me show you, let me tell you what she's doing and show you. And you are able to demonstrate those things in a way that goes, okay, you described it, you showed the mechanics, and you even showed how it's done. And I think that's very useful for people. So I wanted to mention that so that people will know they should be going out and watching your videos.
Thank you.
But they are really a master class in that regard. And I walk away, I directed choirs for many years, and I walk away thinking, shoot, I wish I was still directing a choir, because I could bring this information forward and be showing it to people. It's excellent. So I send people to your your YouTube channel as often as I can. And hopefully from this, we'll have even more.
That would be lovely.
It would be lovely. So I don't know if you want to comment on that, kind of what your thought process and motivation was and has been and continues to be about the methodology that you use and the way in which you share when you're doing reaction videos.
My goal and quest in life is to just make things that people get things out of, like, and principally in this Fairy Voice Mother channel, education and just a good time. I just want people to have fun when they watch the videos. So I meticulously edit them. I make sure that the pauses are always in a place where I will watch it and I'll think, I don't want you to stop there, so I'll put the cut in there. So how I've filmed my videos a lot of the time is I'll watch it all the way through without stopping, and then I'll make my comments and then I'll insert them in where I feel like it would feel more natural for a viewer. It seems to work in the way that people will really see how I reacted to it, especially if it's a song where I would get particularly emotional. I wouldn't want to cut that because, you know, that's it would be sacrilegious. So the other thing is like this part of my quest is that I want to make sure that people don't feel like singing is this sort of gated community where you can't have access to information because it's so technical and all of this jargon that people throw around, like you need to blend your head voice with your chest voice and stuff like that. It doesn't make any sense on its own, and I just needed people to understand that it isn't actually a difficult concept. So a big part of my work before I started the channel was to simplify these concepts in a way that people might think is less simple, because I talk about the actual anatomy of it rather than the things about the heads and the chests and stuff. But I needed people to understand that it's more basic than people realize, so that they feel empowered that they can actually do these things that I'm talking about. And I think if you really understand a concept, people understand. And that's just really, really important to me. I want to be able to teach people things in a way that they understand them. And I want people to feel smart and capable and talented, because I really believe everyone is. I don't want to scare anyone off with some like prestigious, pompous explanation about something that is for singing is for everyone.
And with that, let me just bring this part up, is that you mentioned that you have a student who said you should be doing this because you have a strange personality. I don't see it as a strange personality, but you're very much you're you when you're doing these reaction videos, I think. I mean, I get the impression that what you see is what you get. You know, you're not going to see a different Lolli Wren if we encountered you on the street someplace. That's your personality. And you're very unfiltered. And I think that's part of what makes it engaging as well, is you are not pompous. You're not trying to come across as something special or something different. You're Lolli Wren, and you're the Fairy Voice Mother. And that, I think that engages people as well.
Oh, that's lovely. I mean, I'm not special. I'm not different. I'm just someone that has a quest that I need to pursue, and that's it, really. So
good. Yeah. You've also taken the time to, you've had artists, singers, and others join you on your channel at times, or collaborated with people, sometimes even other reactors, other people who do reaction videos that you've occasionally connected with. And I just wondered, from your personal perspective, what you think about that when you have the opportunity to be connecting with, collaborating with, joining with someone else when you're putting together one of your videos.
Oh, it's everything to me. I'm like a puppy that needs socializing. I love humans so much, and I want to be around them. I want to learn. I want to have human connections. And so Eduardo, our manager, he sort of usually does like the sort of reaching out to people, and he will reach out to people every week on my behalf, because like, Lolli wants to talk to you, please will you let her interview you or do a video with you or whatever, because it's so important to me. And I think it should be something that we prioritize as like content creators, is having as many human connections as possible, because although this could seem like the opposite of human because it's so technological and the screens and everything, actually it's the most human experience I've ever had, because I've been able to connect with people on a really genuinely deep level from all over the world. And without this internet, I wouldn't have been able to do that. And so I want to maximize that as much as I can and make global friends and feel things together and learn things together. It's just so fun to me. It means everything.
So you do have the second YouTube channel. There's not a lot on there, but people can get a good idea about your performance style if they go over to just your Lolli Wren YouTube channel and hear some of what you have there. So you've got an album planned. Are you already working on it?
It's nearly done.
Actively? Is it? Okay. And do you have a targeted release date?
It will definitely be next year. I'm hoping for January or February. Okay. So it's sooner rather than later. All the songs are done. It just needs tweaking, and I'm filming music videos and stuff like that. So yeah,
okay. That's good to know. All right, because we're going to be following up on that.
Oh, cool.
Well, Lolli Wren, the fairy voice mother, thank you so much for spending this time with us and for sharing so much of who you are and what you do, because I do think it speaks to people. And I personally am very appreciative of what you do and what you share, and hopefully we'll get even more people excited about that. But thank you for taking the time to be with us today. And we're certainly going to be following up for updates as you get ready to release some of the new things that you're doing, particularly that album.
Oh, that would be wonderful. It's been such a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you ever so much.
All right, that was my conversation with the amazing and lovely Lolli Wren. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you got something out of it. She really is. Listen, it's not at all an exaggeration to say that her videos are a master class. And I'm going to ask you to do something I don't necessarily often ask people to do, because I'm pushing very often to say, go to the Coffee Breaks with Steve YouTube channel and subscribe. And I want you to do that. But here's what I would really like you to do. You see on the screen there are some, I've been posting in the conversation, in the chat over the course of this time, a number of the links to the Fairy Voice Mother and Lolli Wren's different sites. And I'm going to continue. We'll put those on my Facebook page and both the Coffee Breaks with Steve and my personal Facebook page, as well as the Coffee Breaks with Steve Roundtable. All of the links are going to be out there and linkable, but you can see what some of they're pretty straightforward. If you're looking for the Fairy Voice Mother, you go to any of the sites, go to YouTube. This was pulled down from YouTube, so you're not seeing the YouTube link there, but I put that in the chat not too long ago. But go to YouTube, in the search, put in the Fairy Voice Mother. Lolli's Fairy Voice Mother page is going to come up. And by the way, I was going to show this. I copied this because I just want to give you a quick idea of what it looks like when you go in. I was going to use this as an intro and I forgot to do it, but this is what you get.
Hello, gorgeous. I'm the Fairy Voice Mother, and today I'm going to be reacting to...
Yeah, and every one of her videos starts with that, and you can see just how engaged she is right from the start. But you're going to get, you may not even be a singer. You may just like to listen to certain artists, and you're going to find maybe some reaction videos that Lolli's doing. You go, I don't really care to hear that much about that singer. But part of it is not just, I've watched some of her reaction videos for artists, for groups that aren't necessarily in my normal listening area, right? Heavy metal or hard rock, that are groups that I maybe have ignored pretty much in the past. But when I'm watching and listening to Lolli break down vocal technique and point out things that I may never have thought of in what an artist or a group is doing in terms of the vocal production. And then when she's able to take something that I'm going, there's no way anybody else could do that. And she says, let me show you what they just did. And she replicates it with her own voice to show you that it can be done. I'm telling you that even if all you are is a music appreciator and you like certain styles of music, taking the time to watch Lolli Wren's Fairy Voice Mother reaction videos, You may not get addicted to them like I have, but I think you'll get something out of them. And if you are a singer or you are a musician or you've sung in the past, and I saw some comments, yeah, I'm tone deaf, or I have issues with my thyroid. And I can watch some of these and watch how she talks about the mechanics and reach out to Lolli. You can email her. There are ways to link to her email and to go on her website and find out if you could sign up for a 1 or 2 or 3 lesson Zoom lessons online and work with her and have her just let you know what you might be able to do to correct issues. Mine have to do with the fact I've gotten older. But anyway, we're going to post all of these, but I wanted to make you aware of them because I am really a champion of Lolli Wren and the Fairy Voice Mother. I like a lot of reaction videos. A lot of people out there I could recommend, but I'm telling you, the Fairy Voice Mother is definitely worthwhile. Okay, I want to close this out by letting you know some things that are coming up in the next few weeks. First of all, it's very important for you to know that we're taking a bit of a hiatus. They're going to be the next 3 Saturdays. There's no coffee breaks with Steve. I mentioned that I'm getting ready to take Carol to the airport right after the show so that she can fly back east for her work. And I'm joining her at the end of this coming week. And so I'm going to be there for 3 weekends. And so we have made a decision, both in terms of just the time zone change and our activity as husband and wife to get out and have some adventures, prioritizing. So please bear with us. I know you will. Give me that latitude. Take a few Saturdays for your own breaks to do whatever. You don't have to tune in. You don't have to set your alarm. We will be back on November 11th. In fact, I'm going to be broadcasting live from Petaluma, California. Yes, I'm coming back from the East Coast, and then I'm going to be turning around and flying down to California. But I will be broadcasting live because we're going to have back on the program retired Army Colonel Chris Kalenda and Dee Dee Kiso, who are both with the Saber 6 Foundation. And this time we had them on several weeks back, and they talked about their foundation. They talked about the work they're doing with veterans and with the families and survivors of veterans. This time it's going to be on Veterans Day, and the Saber 6 Foundation, Chris and Dee Dee and a number of other people are being honored by the city of Petaluma as Grand Marshals for their Veterans Day Parade, and they're going to have a variety of activities going on. And so I'm going to be having a conversation with Chris and Dee Dee about what is Veterans Day. We know about this holiday somewhat, but you're going to get a perspective that I think is going to go straight to the heart. We've already recorded this conversation, and I'm telling you, it was emotional for me to think about this and to really gain a new understanding of how we can honor and connect with our veterans. So I'm going to ask you to please come back and tune in on November 11th. And then on November 18th, Ann Davis East is going to be back to talk about what's on your bookshelf, and we'll see what kind of books and authors she has to share. November 25th, you're going to meet another musician, another artist. You're going to meet Pamela Jean, who is a singer, a songwriter, and an advocate, particularly around areas of being protected from domestic violence and moving away from that. And she's going to talk about both, but she's also going to share some music. And then we'd like to know what topics you would like to discuss. We're coming into the holiday season. We're coming into the end of the year, and we're already planning episodes for 2024. So I want to hear from you. What are the topics? Who are the guests that you would like to see us have on Coffee Breaks with Steve? I want to know. And I also want to encourage you to be looking for us on all of the places and to tell other people about Coffee Breaks with Steve. And please, yeah, I said I would mention it. Go to my YouTube channel, to the Coffee Breaks with Steve YouTube channel. If you haven't already done so, subscribe, but also look for our videos out there and click the thumbs up and like them and share that site with other people. I'm not looking to pat myself on the back with a bunch of viewers. What I am looking to do is make sure that people like Lolli Wren and other great guests and topics that we're presenting have the biggest audience possible so more people can learn about them. I'm looking forward to going on the Fairy Voice Mother site and watching the numbers go up. She already has now 277,000 plus. Make that the 277,000 up to 278,000 by subscribing to her channel and sharing it. Subscribe to the Coffee Breaks with Steve channel and share that as well. All right. I have gone on and on today, both on the recorded conversation and live. I just want to say thank you for being here. I want to say how much I appreciate all of you. I appreciate all the great comments and questions in the chat. and that you are a part of the Coffee Breaks with Steve family and joined us for this virtual coffee table discussion every single week, except for the next 3. But please do stay connected to us. Look for us on Facebook and YouTube, and make sure that you are part of the conversation on an ongoing basis. And please, as always, remember that you have a voice. You have the ability to take action. So find a way to make a difference in your world this week and the next 3 when we're not together. God bless you. Have a great week. See you soon.